Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the racing capital of the world. And for a decade now, home of the Brickyard 400.
Oh, he's going to go around him. He's taking the inside. They touch. He's got the lead.
1994, winner, Jeff Gordon.
He brushes off all challengers, and Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet wins the second annual Brickyard 400.
1995, winner, Dale Earnhardt.
Here he is at 2. Dale Jarrett gets underneath. Ernie Irvin is Irvin. Bobble just a minute in the South Short Chute. Now onto the back straight with 7 laps remaining. Dale Jarrett is the leader of the Brickyard 400.
1996, winner, Dale Jarrett.
Out of turn 4. The last flag shown was Wash Day White. This one has the black checks too. Ricky Rudd wins the Brickyard 400.
1997, winner, Ricky Rudd.
All intents and purposes, this is the final lap. About a 5-car length, 6-car length advantage for Jeff Gordon across the North Short Chute to turn 4 into the yellow flag.
1998, Gordon wins again.
Here comes Dale Jarrett looking on the inside of Labonte. The 18 car is going to lead it, but it looks like the 88 will pull to the side as they hit the 4.
1999, Dale Jarrett dominates.
Bobby Labonte is the bridesmaid no more at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He will win the 7th Brickyard 400 as light bulbs flash all around this facility.
2000, winner, Bobby Labonte.
And the Gordon fans are on their feet waving their caps and saluting their king.
2001, it's Gordon for a 3rd time.
Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott is awesome here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He wins the 9th Brickyard 400.
2002, winner, awesome, Bill Elliott. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway was built in 1909 on a 320-acre farm on the outskirts of Indiana's capital city.
Now the flying start. Pace car crawled at all speed to get out of the way.
2 years later, the green flag fell on a 500-mile endurance race known simply as the Indianapolis 500. From there, the Speedway rolled on for 3 decades until the track is closed for World War II. Then slowly falling into disrepair. Over the next 50 years, Indy introduced America to names like Foyt, Mears, Andretti, and Unser.
Hi, I'm Johnny Rutherford. It's the place that most every race driver in the United States would like to run, like to be here because of the tradition and what it can do for your career as a winner of this race.
And why does Johnny Rutherford think he can hear the loud beating of his heart above the roar of his engine?
There's no other racetrack, I think, in the world that has the same tradition and means as much to a driver as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Tradition with a capital T. I mean, when you look back and this place operating as an Indianapolis 500 since 1911, You know, it's got that long, rich history that made the race what it is today.
Historically, I don't think there's any racetrack anywhere in the world that rivals Indianapolis. When you walk into a place, it can be December and there's nothing going on and snow on the ground, and there's something eerie about it.
Then NASCAR came a-calling.
Going to a new market like Indy and a new track and what it stands for, it's kind of like, hey, this is where NASCAR has been and the heritage of it. Hey, in Indy is kind of where NASCAR is going. You know, from one great family to another, from one great city to another.
I mean, it's just an amazing place. You know, you walk in there and you see Gasoline Alley and all the fans and you know, even before you get on the racetrack, you know, you're just kind of, you know, just in awe and amazed by just how monumental it is.
The prestige there is by far second to none to any racetrack. Daytona is the only comparable type of racetrack as far as drivers wanting to win there. And the amount that place challenges you, it's very similar to Daytona. So it's a place where everybody wants to win, everybody brings their A game.
And even how welcome we are now, you know, it's because there was a little bit of that feeling when we first got there that this is the house that Open Wheel built, and this is a little bit uncomfortable, but we're here, and it's pretty cool.
Through a near century, the grandstands of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway have reverberated with every sound that racing has to offer.
Pierce makes a drive. John Cock wins it by less than 1/10 of a second.
The whine of an Indy car, streaking at speeds over 230 miles per hour. The cheers of hundreds of thousands of fans, each eye witnessing a piece of sports history. The exuberance of a driver who has driven his way into racing immortality. For 85 years, Indianapolis was the exclusive playground of open-wheel racers and the most revered race in the world, the Indianapolis 500. The story has it that NASCAR founder Bill France was discovered snooping around Gasoline Alley back in the 1950s and was escorted from the premises. The result? A standing invitation from Indianapolis to NASCAR, an invitation to stay away. True or not, in 1994, the venerable old speedway and its young owner, Tony George, finally threw its doors open to stock car racing.
Every driver in America at one time or another wants to race at Indianapolis. Those that elected a stock car career prior to today, they didn't really have that opportunity. Today they do.
In my wildest dreams, I don't guess I ever dreamed about it. I dreamed about it happening, but in reality, I knew better. And, you know, after all these years and stuff, we finally made it here, so it's a big, big deal for us.
And when the first 358 cubic inch engine rumbled to life, it was a sound that told the Brickyard it would never be the same again.
The success of the very first Brickyard 400 surprised us. Honestly, the enthusiasm was totally unexpected. We expected the reaction to be good, but not that good. It was extremely good, and so it's been a happy relationship ever since.
I was kind of glad to see the stock cars come here. I was probably one of the few Indy drivers that thought it'd really be a good idea, where most of them felt like it wouldn't be, but I was really for the stock cars coming.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some old race car drivers that were turning over in their grave when they heard those things start up there the first time.
From Daytona to Darlington, NASCAR had witnessed countless awe-inspiring moments in its first 46 years.
Petty is out in front at the line. Wants it to the inside. Petty wins
But the initial sight of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was enough to drop the jaw of even the most experienced NASCAR Winston Cup veteran.
The first time I went there, it gave me chills. I remember, just dealing like it was another race, but it was the inaugural Brickyard 400.
So much history there that you sense it, and you can almost have flashbacks to you see the old pictures and the old film clips of Indy, and you're there, and all of a sudden you can kind of in your mind flash back to what it was like, what it must have been like in the 20s and the 30s, and even before that to run around that racetrack.
First time I went through the tunnel and came up, I drove right in front of the museum. I looked around, I said, oh my goodness, I just couldn't believe how big it was.
I took my Instamatic camera with me, and I rode out there real slow when I was going to warm up. I took pictures as I went down the racetrack because I thought this would be pretty cool to have one day.
Couldn't wait to see who showed up to watch. There were so many seats, and I wondered how many people would come.
On Saturday, August 6, 1994, those worried about the box office response were quickly relieved. More than 300,000 fans looked on as the field of 43 for the inaugural Brickyard 400 rolled out onto the starting grid.
Everybody's hooting and hollering, and you can look around and just see all the folks. It's just incredible how many people are put into one racing facility. Incredible.
So I never got that caught up in all the tradition and the, holy ground and whether stock cars belonged there or not and all that stuff. I just didn't pay any attention to that. I kept my eye on the target. The target was, let's go here and try to win this thing.
It was just, awesome seeing all the people was in the stands, and it's such a big place, and every seat was filled in it, and kind of give coach as it did. So it was a neat deal being the first race there.
In the field were 5 NASCAR Winston Cup champions. One very nervous native son and 2 Indianapolis 500 winners, including the greatest of them all, A.J. Foyt, who had come out of retirement just for this day.
We lined the cars there on the racetrack, which is something we don't do everywhere, and we realized how many people were there. It was just it gave me chills.
I mean, right when we pulled in the gate for the race, the first race, I could see something different in Earnhardt. I knew this wasn't just another race for him.
2 days earlier, an astonishing 84 cars had attempted to qualify for this historic event. On the pole was the unlikeliest of drivers, a man who as a teenager had sold a cow to buy his first race car. At 12:09 p.m., Virginian Rick Mast led NASCAR to its first green flag at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
They come to speed. The green flag waves the Brickyard 400. He is underway in the first 3 rows, side by side to turn 1.
For 3 hours, IndyCar fans marveled at the sight of 3,400-pound stock cars tiptoeing through the unforgiving 4 corners and hammering their way down the half-mile straights.
One car smacked the wall coming out of 4. It may have been Earnhardt.
The way he wanted to lead the first lap of that first Brickyard race. It meant so much to him. And he just tried so hard and got into the wall the first lap.
When you first look at it and you watch the stock cars go around there and you see how farther and how deep they drive into the corner, you sit there in amazement saying there's no way you can drive a heavy stock car down in the corner that far here. But yet you do it.
The key is to be able to carry your momentum to the center corner and have your nose point. As soon as that nose points, you can feed throttle. And if the nose points quick enough, you can feed throttle and your nose will continue turning. That's where you gain all your time at, is middle out, because that's going to carry all your speed down the straightaway.
13 different drivers took turns at the front, but the one constant at the point was local hero and prohibitive fan favorite Jeff Gordon.
I have never seen cheering like this for one individual driver. When Jeff Gordon gets the lead, everybody over here standing up, waving and cheering.
As the laps wound down, it was the famous number 28 Texaco Haviland Ford at the front. The Brickyard 400 was Ernie Irvin's to lose.
I know that it wasn't going to be very popular for Ernie Irvin to be able to beat Jeff Gordon at his home state. But, you know, I mean, I feel like that we had him right where we wanted him.
Oh, he's going to go around him. He's taking the inside. They touch. He's got the lead. A little high coming into two. Irvin's a little lower, but now Jeff at about 5 car lengths off, and the fans once again on their feet. The right front tire is flat on Ernie Irvin's car. He has to come to the pit lane. Jeff Gordon is out in front by himself.
He went to high school in the suburbs of Indianapolis. As a teenager, he cut his teeth on the short tracks of Indiana. And just 2 days after his 23rd birthday, Jeff Gordon was standing in victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Jeff, congratulations. You've helped write history here. Your name will be the first to be inscribed on the beautiful PPG trophy for the Brickyard 400. This is yours to take home. Congratulations.
I mean, I can't even describe to you the feeling of that, the chills up your spine. I mean, I started getting emotional, you know, coming to the checkered flag, and I just remember the whole atmosphere that weekend was incredible. You know, for everybody to be driving around this incredible facility, the history that had gone on there with just one race for so many years, and the fans, you know, being excited about seeing a different type of car and a different type of race on that track. And with me, you know, going to high school and kind of growing up in Indiana, you could feel the atmosphere of people that were pulling for me. And so when it was all said and done, I mean, it was just one of those storybook days that you could not have written the script any better. I couldn't have written a book and have written it to turn out any better than that. And certainly my life hasn't been the same since. It's been quite a ride ever since then.
You don't really think about those things until you're done, and then you can stop and sit back and go, wow, do you realize I've done something that is part of auto racing history? And that day at the Brickyard, it really never dawned on me until we were done. I think we've got some victory lane pictures. I'm just leaning on the roof of the car, and I just have a dazed look on my face because I realized, hey, we're at Indy, and you know, I'm not here as a spectator. We've won a race here, and it was you know, something I'll never forget.
Each and every week of the NASCAR Winston Cup season, 43 men take quite a ride themselves. And no, we're not talking about the race car drivers. We're talking about the truckers, the team transport drivers. Jeff Gordon arrives to the track every week by private jet. His car arrives by way of an 18-wheeler. And behind the wheel of that big rig is another Jeff Craven. But on this 600-mile ramble from Concord, North Carolina to Indianapolis, please don't call him by his given name. He prefers Rooster.
Time to go. We've got to make sure that everything's strapped down and the cars are strapped down and secure, and you'll see we'll check them periodically going up the road to make sure everything's good. So yeah, that's a big part of my responsibility.
What's the hardest part about this day?
Right now, I guess the traffic in itself, just leaving Charlotte with the rain and everything else, but It ain't too bad today, really.
I know the right lane's open. I know what they're doing. They're closing the bridge off. They got something like rails so you can run up and down there.
And this happens all the time, man. There's either construction or something going on. This is part of the job, and yeah, it slows down the trip, of course, because you never know what's going to take place, like causes more accidents and backups on the road, but it's just how it goes. Before I got into driving a cup truck, I used to ride with a guy in a furniture truck that they call Banny Rooster. And I didn't even have a handle at the time, because most truck drivers got a handle, and just come about his Banny Rooster, and I could call myself the Red Rooster. So, and everybody just called me Rooster for short. We're in Charleston, West Virginia. We're halfway, about 300 more miles to go.
Look, Jeff and Jimmy running together.
I guess when you get on the road, start hearing the fans talking to you on the radio, other drivers talking to you and things like that, you start getting excited, getting ready to get up there and get on with it.
Those two NASCAR trucks, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
What time y'all qualify tomorrow?
Don't qualify till Saturday at 10:05. When you're on the road, there's several people want to show you things they've got on their cars or their trucks of Jeff. Things they've done to their cars or trucks to put the 24 decal on it, things like that. A lot of different fans.
All right, man. Where's my man?
Think about home. Think about what's going on this weekend. After the races, coming home, I started thinking about what went on that weekend, but what all's got to be done. You just, a lot of time to think.
We'll get off here and get some fuel and go on the track, bud.
It's like when we come out here and tested, we all went to the museum. And just seeing, like you say, the history of this place, I mean, it just makes you feel good to come here. I mean, it's an awesome place. That's just all you can say.
Is it an extra special place for this team, knowing they're going for just another win here?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, for this team especially, like, this is Jeff's hometown, too. So, I mean, no, this is a place we really want to win for him and everything else. But, no, this just ain't another place. Here we are. We're at the Brickyard. Let's go win it.
No one has been better than Jeff Gordon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway since the NASCAR Winston Cup Series started running here in 1994.
In 9 previous trips to Indianapolis, no driver and no team has come close to matching the record of Gordon and his Rainbow Warriors.
For the 35th time in his young career, the checkered flag will wave, and the first car beneath it will be the DuPont Chevrolet of Jeff Gordon.
I just don't know what to say. This is just unbelievable. I mean, I guess when it's meant to be, it's just meant to be. And the guys did an awesome job just getting this DuPont Automotive Finishes Chevrolet in this victory lane. They want it so bad, and so did we, and can't thank them enough. This is awesome.
In addition to his win in 1994, came victories in 1998 and 2001.
Get ready to blow out the candles on another victory for Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon started 27th. He will finish first. He will become the first 3-time winner.
There's nothing better than kissing those gritty, sandy, rubber, nasty brakes, but it's the coolest, man, in motorsports.
I can't believe I'm getting to do this.
I can't either. Hey, buddy, see? We took you to Victory Lane after all.
That's what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to be standing on the finish line, #1 at Indianapolis.
And pole positions in 95, 96, and 99. No driver has won more races, more money, more poles, or led more laps than Jeff Gordon. Proving once and for all, you can come home again.
My hero was Rick Mears, you know, and he's a 4-time winner of the Indy 500, and you know, AJ Foyt, another 4-time winner, and here I am, a 3-time winner of the Brickyard, and it's, you know, only been around 9 years, so it's overwhelming to me to know that and look back on that, and it's also something that I'm probably going to treasure the most in my career.
Along with those 3 wins, Gordon's 3 poles have also set the standard for the Brickyard 400. However, winning the pole doesn't come easy at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Laps and laps of testing are required by each team to not only set the car up for the race, but for qualifying as well.
Well, testing is real important here at Indianapolis because the competition is so tough when you get to this racetrack. It's not like going to a regular speedway, a regular intermediate track that's on the schedule. This place has got over 400,000 people. All our sponsors show up. You can tell, you can feel the intensity. You can feel a little bit of the pressure. And so you want to do extra well. So everybody comes to Indianapolis to test. I don't know of hardly anybody that's not testing. They're all here testing. They're trying to get their cars as fast as they possibly can for qualifying day, then as fast as they possibly can for racing. So you'll see most people out there doing race runs and then putting their cars and doing qualifying runs. And it's a very intense weekend, and everybody's putting extra effort into it.
In fact, testing was the event that introduced stock cars to Indy at an invitation-only session in 1992.
I remember coming up here and wanting to be the first one on the racetrack, and Les Richter back then and those guys saying, well, we're going to let the cars out by car number. I said, well, hey, I'm number 2, and there was no number 1. I'll be the first guy on the track. So I was the first guy to ever drive the car onto the speedway, which was really, really good. Well, then Earnhardt, as they let us go out and run, he said, I want to be the first guy to lead the lap. He didn't say that. So as I pulled the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft car out there and warming it up, Earnhardt comes out wide open, passing me coming off of turn 4 so he can lead the first lap ever at the speedway. But I can say I was the first car on the speedway.
Beneath a lazy Friday morning sun and a sleepy city skyline, the gates swung open for the 10th edition of the Brickyard 400. Gasoline Alley was open for business. Since well before dawn, racing's greatest fans were already in position, hoping to catch a glimpse of their favorite horsepower-drawn chariots as they rolled into the Grand Coliseum of racing. The first competition of every weekend is a game of chance. Qualifying orders are called like a game of country church bingo. At Indy, everyone knows that the first name draw will have a huge advantage in qualifying with a speed boost from the cool morning temperatures. There would be one winner and 51 losers before the first engine was ever fired. But before Saturday's time trial, there was practice on Friday afternoon. As the drivers arrived, they were all business. And no one was more serious than John Andretti. The Indianapolis native came home in a one-race ride with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated and with 2 crushing sources of pressure. The fight to regain respectability in the garage and the sole defender of the Andretti legacy at Indianapolis. Practice was underway with Andretti leading a 52-man assault on the Brickyard. After 2 hours, Andretti topped the charts with a speed nearing 183 miles per hour. Redemption is always nice, but the garage closed on Friday with one thought on everyone's mind. Tomorrow morning, it counts. When the time for qualifying arrived at 10 a.m. Saturday, every driver was focused on the skies above. And they liked what they saw. A low-lying cloud cover meant cool temperatures on the track's temperamental surface. And every racer knows that a cool racetrack is a fast racetrack. Since 1946, the rafters of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway have rung with the deep and commanding tones of Tom Carnegie.
And here he comes.
Every Brickyard 400 has been run with Carnegie on the public address system. This year, just 7 weeks shy of his 84th birthday.
And it's a new track record.
Joe Nemechek was ready to cash in on his Friday morning bingo win.
It's a new track record already.
Nemechek broke Tony Stewart's qualifying record in just 1 lap. Stewart had held the track record for 1 year. Nemechek's mark lasted about 10 minutes. 7 of the first 9 cars broke Stewart's record.
It's a new track record. What's going on here today? Everybody is breaking the old track record.
Kevin Harvick, not so patiently, had to wait his turn.
And it's another new track record. Wow!
Then, Mother Nature slammed the window of opportunity shut.
As the sun pops out, oh man, that is disaster for these guys.
Over the next hour, track temperatures climbed nearly 15 degrees. With the heat, the blacktop became slick, right rear fenders became flat, and speeds began to slow. Meanwhile, Harvick watched and waited. 34 cars took a shot at the GM Goodwrench Chevy, and 34 cars came up short. Then, a break. The sprinkle was enough to drop track temperatures once again, and 7 cars seized the opportunity to make a run at the pole, including Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, and Jamie McMurray. But in the end, only Jeremy Mayfield stood between Kevin Harvick and the pole position.
Pretty awesome for the GM Goodwrench car and everybody involved. I'm not the greatest qualifier in the world, but we've always had some pretty good success here, and it's pretty cool. 2 poles, one at Daytona and one in Indy, so that's pretty neat.
Second only to Jeff Gordon's Brickyard record is that of second-generation NASCAR champion Dale Jarrett, with wins in 1996 and 1999.
Dale Jarrett adds his advantage with a win in the 6th annual Brickyard 400.
The first of those victories, like Gordon's, came at the expense of Ernie Irvan. The difference? Irvan was not just an opponent, but a Robert Yates Racing teammate as well.
Dale Jarrett seems to be a man who's going to have to be contended with.
We came down to, got inside of 10 laps, and it shook out to be Ernie leading the race, and I was in second. He had passed me back probably 15 or 20 laps before that, and I wasn't sure because of seeing how strong his car was that I would even get the chance to get back by him, but I knew it had to be exciting for Robert Yates, our owner, to sit there and watch his 2 cars battling for the victory.
He's going to make the pass at number 2. Here he is at 2. Dale Jarrett gets underneath. Ernie Irvan is Irvan bobbled just a bit in the South Short chute. Now onto the back straight with 8 laps, 7 laps remaining. Dale Jarrett is the leader of the Brickyard 400.
That was a race that I was the second best car. And, you know, a lot of times you can have the best car, you can have the second best car, and still not win. And so I feel like that DJ deserved that race because he had the best car.
Tears in the eyes of a very proud father for the call of the finish, Ned Jarrett.
I don't know if I can say anything or not. Now here he comes to the line, and Dale Jarrett will win the 3rd annual Brickyard 400.
I mean, you've always watched races at Indy, and now to have the opportunity to be right here in Victory Lane, such a tremendous feeling. This is just such a great place. I want to thank God for a safe race here, giving me the abilities that he has, for saving a lot of people out there, including myself. So thank you. Thank my dad.
To know that we had put together the best cars as teammates, I think that made it special. To know the competitor that I had to outrun and outduel at the end in Ernie Irvan makes it very special. But then on the other side of it, I wanted him to be able to enjoy that also, that opportunity to be in Victory Lane at Indianapolis, knowing how hard he'd worked.
For a racer, nothing stings quite as sharp as losing a race that was his, and his alone to win.
Just been having troubles with turn 3 this weekend. In qualifying, we spun, and that put us in a bad position. Back there with the decrepit old has-beens, I guess. I mean, I guess he's a never-was is really the term that we need to bring up today. But real unfortunate, we had the car to beat. We were going to the front.
It is a feeling at the Brickyard that has certainly not remained exclusive to Ernie Irvan. And even Indy's best are not immune.
Dale Jarrett apparently is out of fuel, posting on this pit lane.
Dale Jarrett came in and got a 2-tire change, but he's got trouble. When he left, the catch can was stuck in the back of that car, so he is going to have to come in again after a 2-tire change.
Entering 2003, no driver had been denied at the Brickyard quite like Rusty Wallace. In 9 races, he finished second 3 times. But it wasn't that he finished second that made it all so painful. It was how he finished second. The first loss came in 1995 to an old and familiar rival.
Well, Wallace is closing down on Earnhardt. Remember, it's not where you start, it's where you're finished. Dale was not happy with his 13th fastest qualifying effort. Not happy with the starting position, but right now he sets the pace.
Yeah, I've got a lot of tremendous amount of respect for Rusty Wallace as a race car driver. On the other side of that, he has been one of our arch rivals over the years, so he's one of the guys that we love to beat. And To beat Rusty at the Brickyard came with a lot of satisfaction personally for me. I like beating Rusty.
Well, whoever wins this one is going to earn it. Dale Earnhardt is the leader. Rusty Wallace runs second.
That competitive streak pushed the number 3 team to victory over Wallace, leading the final 27 laps for what was, at the time, the biggest victory of Earnhardt's career.
He brushes off all challengers, and Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet wins the second annual Brickyard 400.
Going into 95, he hadn't forgotten about 94. He wanted to win it the first time, and it just really didn't sit with him too good that Jeff Gordon won it. And he was out to prove something.
Oh, he's real proud of winning that race. He felt possibly as strongly about winning that race as trying to win the Daytona 500. Everybody knows how big a deal that was to him.
Present you with this PPG trophy, commemorating your win today.
Well, thank you, Tony. Y'all got a great family and a great racetrack tradition up here. I'm glad I'm the second man that won, and if not the first. We really appreciate it. And NASCAR, I guarantee you NASCAR is happy to be here.
Earnhardt's win came in just his second try. For Wallace, the quest to add his name to the Brickyard Trophy has been an agonizing series of near misses.
I had a huge lead, almost a straightaway lead, and said there was no way I'm going to lose this race, and I hit pit road, and 2 cars collided on pit road, leaving, and it blocked me in, and I couldn't get out. And just about the time that blocked up there in pit road opened up and I got through, then a tire rolled across in front of me from another guy, and I had to stop. And as I exited pit road, Earnhardt just squeaked past me.
Twice, Wallace held the lead with less than 15 laps to go, and twice he had to settle for the best seat in the house to watch another man win. Bobby Labonte kept number 2 at number 2 in 2000.
Bobby Labonte dived to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Wallace continuing to go wide in this turn. This time, Labonte is trying to make him pay. They're side by side at the exit of turn 4.
We're coming down the front straightaway. It was casual contact, and you know, just trying to get by him and trying to get all the air off him I could, and just rubbed a little bit. I mean, it didn't upset our cars. It just kind of like wiggled us.
He didn't bang me out of the way. We got side by side coming off of turn 4. My front end was pushing pretty hard. He got up alongside me, and we roughed each other up a little bit coming down the front straightaway. Then once he got ahead of me, he pretty well checked out.
It looked better than what it really was, or looked more than what it really was. But it's just one of those deals. And you know, we went through turn 1, and I drove her down in there pretty hard, pushed up. He nailed me in the back. Actually gave me a jump start to get going again. So it was kind of like one of those, you know, he was upset because he got passed, and he was like, all right, see ya, I guess, you know. I mean, like, dang it. And he was upset because he could almost won that race now about 2 or 3 times in a row.
Bobby Labonte is the bridesmaid no more at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He will win the 7th Brickyard 400 as light bulbs flash all around this facility.
It's just one of those racetracks that you keep a special place in your heart for. The trophy that came from the Brickyard 400 it's not in a normal place of trophies. It's in a special place of trophies. So it just kind of shows you how much there is to that. You have that special trophy in a different place.
The second and third losses looked eerily similar as a new millennium offered the same old results at the Brickyard.
You know, I just look at Rusty's stats here, and I think this will be his 6th top 6 finish. So Rusty gets around here, but just never first in checkered.
And in 2002, fellow veteran Bill Elliott stole the Indy Thunder that Wallace had hoped would finally belong to him.
Finally, to run him down and catch him is one thing, but to pass him is another. He got into turn 1 just a little bit hard, got up out of the groove. I made it to him by turn 2, and then he got loose in 2. And I was able to use and get the clean air and get under him and beat him to the win. I was faster than he was, but getting to him and passing him, especially the way these cars are today, is very difficult.
Last year, Bill Elliott was a real dominant car, and I caught him at the end. I did 2 tires. It got me track position. I got out, and I led for a long, long time, and right there at the very end, he reeled me in and passed me.
Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott is awesome here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He wins the 9th Brickyard 400.
If I ever had to finish second to anybody, it'd be Bill. Bill was down on his luck for a long, long time, and finally regained it and got his strength back and won Indy. I was real proud for him. So when I saw him out there, I said, well, if I couldn't have won, I'm glad he did.
It was a great victory. I mean, from the standpoint of looking back over all my career, you know, each of them were important at their points and times, but Indy was a special moment. You know, it seemed like it took so long to get there, and it was special when it came.
I owe an awful lot to these guys and the people at Dodge. It just means a lot, man.
This place is very special, isn't it?
It really is.
Ray Evernham fighting hard to find the words to describe what it means to win this special race.
It was special because, believe it or not, this is the first year, 2002 is the first year I got to do it. I didn't get to do it two times with Jeff. At that time, it was just the driver. So it was special to me. Got to do it first time as an owner, and if you never did anything in your racing career, there are two things you absolutely want to do, and one of them's win the Daytona 500, the other one's win the Brickyard 400.
There was 3 victories that escaped me, and I could have been sitting here with 3 Brickyard 400 wins right now, real easy.
For Wallace and his 42 rivals, there was no time to relax after qualifying. 2 45-minute practice sessions were now all that stood between them and the green flag. Any last-minute fixes or flirts with strategy would have to be played out now. During that cruelest of practice sessions, entitled facetiously, Happy Hour. During the month of May, it's customary that IndyCar drivers wait until the last moments of practice to one-up the field with the fastest speed of the day. Robbie Gordon, a 9-time Indy 500 veteran, honored that tradition by doing just that. Starting 13th on Sunday, Gordon had announced his presence as a contender. With the red flag shown, the track quickly grew quiet. The noise of the engines replaced by the hustle of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway staff, preparing racing's promised land to play host to a new champion. 43 race teams left Gasoline Alley behind and empty. The next time they would step onto this hallowed ground, it would be time to race. Since May 30th, 1911, America has come to Indianapolis to celebrate the Indianapolis 500 race.
Who you pulling for, ma'am?
Dale Jr., woo!
Who are you pulling for today?
Well, let's see. Rusty Wallace. Who do my kids say I got to vote for? Oh, yeah, that would be Tony today. Gordon, yeah!
On August 3rd, 2003, race fans once again made the pilgrimage to the intersection of 16th and Georgetown. The town of Speedway, Indiana, is the permanent home of 13,000 residents, making it the 523rd largest town in the Hoosier State.
How's race day traffic so far? Pretty happy.
On this day, that population swells to more than 300,000, second only to Indianapolis itself. The residents of Speedway have always served their temporary neighbors with both a smile and a place to park.
Just pull on in and my dad will show you where to park. Okay, thank you a lot.
89-year-old Ernest Eppen lives a few hundred yards from the start-finish line inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He was born there in 1914, the year of the 4th Indianapolis 500.
I want you to pull up like that, back way back, and then we'll put it right side of the house. I'll show you how I'll do it. I'm 89, and was parking ever since I was I'd say 6 years old, because I didn't do much parking when I was 5.
But he has never seen a single lap of racing inside the track. He's too busy.
Come on in straight. Maybe if I can get a guy to park it halfway back there, a small one. All right. Thank you.
Less than a mile away, Eppen's work ethic is matched step for step by race crews and track employees preparing for the biggest show of the summer.
I think we'll do good. I think the beginning of the race we're going to have to adjust on a little bit, be real patient.
Everybody here remembers who won this race last year.
Who's going to win it this year?
12 car.
And as the clock ticks toward the green flag, smiles and laughs are replaced with serious faces and bundles of nerves.
400 miles a day, 160 laps in length. As you go into turn 1, drivers, I want all of you to use your heads going into turns 1 and 2. Let the racetrack come to you. Then we'll have 159 laps of good, solid competition for the win.
36 times each season, NASCAR's biggest stars take the same leisurely yet confident walk to pit road for the pre-race ceremonies. Most of the time, the routine is the same.
Still cool after all these years? That's pretty cool. You don't get that everywhere.
What do you think, Rusty?
Hey, buddy. Ready to go?
What do you think, Steve?
Oh, man, I can't wait. We're at the Brickyard, man. Gotta love it.
Today, the feeling is different. Today, the ghosts of heroes past walk with them. Today, there is an opportunity to live and perhaps make motorsports history. There is nothing routine about it. This is the Brickyard.
For the land of the free and the home of the
Out of the fourth turn, acceleration underway, and here they are.
No driver had ever won the Brickyard 400 from the pole position, but no one bothered to let Kevin Harvick in on that bit of history. Harvick set up frenzy pace early, daring the field to keep up. The strategy worked for 17 laps. Then the 2002 Brickyard champion reminded the crowd that he would settle for nothing less than win number 2.
Myself inside. Myself inside.
Elliott
Harvick side by side. Ryan Newman is right there. All three coming to turn number 3. Fans on their feet as Bill Elliott makes the pass down low in 3.
From deep within the pack, a threat had already emerged. Tony Stewart started 15th, but had already begun to methodically pick his way through the field, powered by a home field advantage and a hometown crowd.
About to get second place from Kevin Harvick. Doesn't look like without much contest because he is flying.
He's under, going down in turn 1, takes the spot.
Comes to their feet collectively. Stewart's inside, door to door. Stewart makes the pass. Did he make it stick? On the outside, Elliott. Stewart will make the move in the short chute heading into turn 2. Tony Stewart out front.
For Stewart, a win at Indianapolis is all that matters, more than any other race or any other season championship. 5 times Stewart has driven in the Indianapolis 500, with only heartbreak to show for his efforts. In his 5th Brickyard 400, he looked to outrun his competitors and his bad luck. By lap 35, he was on pit road as the leader, telling his crew not to touch the setup on his Chevy. It was perfect. For others, the day was already falling apart.
Problems for the UPS Ford. Dale Jarrett spun, bringing the 88 car in on the pit road.
Jackman John Bryan was taken to nearby Methodist Hospital, shaken but okay. 2-time winner Dale Jarrett, however, was already out of contention. Over the next 30 laps, many unfortunate souls would follow Jarrett's lead.
Oh, there's that caution flag. John Andretti, hard contact with the wall.
Meanwhile, the fight at the front belonged to a trio of drivers with Midwestern roots. Stewart, fellow Hoosier Ryan Newman, and one very racy veteran from St. Louis, Rusty Wallace. As the field struggled to keep pace, Stewart and Newman began to check out. Rusty simply dug in, refusing to let Jimmy Johnson or Jamie McMurray by, and refusing to let another Brickyard title slip away. As the halfway point approached, so did the second round of green flag pit stops, and time for a little stock car poker, a game played not with cards, but with fuel mileage calculators.
And the report is out of fuel on the 12.
Newman and Elliott both ran their tanks dry. Others pushed the limits of fuel efficiency even further. Some waited nearly 5 laps later than the leaders, hoping to force their hand in the closing laps.
The 31's out of here.
The bigger the stage, the bigger the gamble, because sometimes those gambles can pay off with a jackpot. In 1997, Ricky Rudd was considered an underdog, part of a dying breed in NASCAR. Men who drove the car and owned the race team.
You know, our budget was probably about less than half of what some of the bigger teams had. And to be able to go out and win on that given day and that race that big, I think one of the reporters wrote in this newspaper the next day, it was like the little hardware store in town going up against the Walmart supercenters, and the little hardware store wins.
The number 10 Tide ride was fast at the front, but handled like a washing machine in traffic. A series of caution flags played directly into Rudd's hands near the end of the 97 race. When other leaders chose to pit late in the game,
I had just passed Ricky, and then the caution came out, and I pitted, and Ricky stayed out. Jack Roush contended that we had fuel to go
Rudd and Bobby Labonte stayed put, gambling on track position and a couple of emptying gas tanks.
I was worried about winning the championship that year and wasn't comfortable with taking the chance.
I'm about a quarter of a mile from Ricky Rudd, but I swear I could see him smiling inside that helmet.
Well, it wasn't as big a gamble as it looked like. We had worked real hard on fuel mileage, and we knew we needed track position. So the fuel arrangement allowed us simply to advance our position in line. The cars that came to pit road, some of those guys got tires and fuel. We had to try to race and hold these guys off with older tires. And so we had our hands full, I guess, for about 10, 15 laps. And you know, as it worked out, the fuel economy allowed us to start that restart at the front of the line instead of starting fifth where we would have been.
Ricky Rudd, 3 laps from glory, or will someone else win the Brickyard 400?
You guys, take hard here, pal.
It didn't take Ricky Rudd long to get on the gas. Labonte closes in. It's Ricky Rudd's race to win. You look back 3 and 4 wide down the front stretch, but hack up in the front of the pack. It's all Ricky Rudd across the short chute. Ricky Rudd wins the Brickyard 400, a car length over Bobby Labonte.
How about that, huh? I hear you, big dog. I hear you. Damn, that's only not the biggest race of the year.
Cannot describe what I'm seeing down here on pit road.
As an 11-year-old, Rudd raced go-karts near the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, looking up at the big track and dreaming of a visit to Victory Lane. On August 2nd, 1997, that dream came true. 6 years later, Rudd's Brickyard win still serves as an inspiration for underfunded and overmatched race teams. Hope for a David among a field full of Goliaths. A hope that even Rudd admits may be on the verge of fading away.
I don't really see that type of upset coming anytime soon. Now you start weighing out as time goes on. You know, you've got your Roush camp and your Hendricks camp. You know, and there really aren't any real underdogs out there like it once was. You know, you're independent, so to speak. The owner-driver situation, I mean, it might run full circle and come back around, but right now I don't think there's any of those guys left out there.
At the 250-mile mark, another driver who knows a little something about upset wins was stalking leader Tony Stewart. Jamie McMurray stunned the garage in 2002 by winning in just his second career NASCAR Winston Cup start. Now he was the fastest car on the racetrack and gaining on Stewart.
Yellow flag here in the Brickyard 400 for the 3rd time in the race.
This is all about the pit crews right here.
Yep. No mistakes. 5 on, 5 off is what the crew chief's telling those guys right now. Give me a good stop, boys.
Knowing this could be the final full stop of the day, nearly every car on the lead lap hit the pits. Anyone making a wrong move would be caught in no man's land. While most teams opted for 2 tires and gas, Robbie Gordon took gas only, and with it, the lead. Stewart came in first, but left 8th. Victim of an air wrench gone bad. With 50 laps to go, Gordon was at the point with McMurray in tow. But all eyes were fixed on the Home Depot Chevy, and Stewart's eyes were fixed on the front. By the time Stewart had reached the front, the target had changed. McMurray had cruised into the lead, bringing series points leader Matt Kenseth with him. With 29 laps to go, the chess game was officially underway, and Stewart's crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, made the first move.
Stewart falls away. 2, 1. Now comes to a stop far away from the wall. Remember last time, very close to the left side. Got a factor this time. They pulled the fairway off the windshield. They've got the fuel okay. The right side's only. Here comes Coach McMurray, you want everything to go perfect here. This will be right side tires and fuel. Hopefully for them, their last green flag stop. This crew, when I was out of this stall a few minutes ago, very tight, but very focused. McMurray on his way.
But he lost 2.5 seconds to Tony Stewart.
The new leader was Kenseth, followed by Jimmy Johnson and Robbie Gordon, all still waiting to pit. In the meantime, the Wisconsin kid slammed his right foot to the floor, hoping to build an advantage that would allow him to keep his lead while on pit road. With 20 laps remaining, the yellow flag came out for debris on the track. No one was surprised to see Kenseth head down pit road. However, everyone was surprised to see who followed.
Is Stewart coming in? Is he? Tony Stewart came in.
Wow. An ill-handling race car sent Stewart back in for new tires. The decision left him sitting 12th and out of contention at Indianapolis once again. Up front, McMurray once more held the point. Pole sitter Kevin Harvick hadn't been near the front for nearly 2 hours, but following a restart with 16 to go, he seized an opportunity in traffic that would change his life forever.
Oh, there he goes. He goes on the inside of McMurray. He takes the lead.
Murray still bottled up in traffic.
Here comes Robbie Gordon. He's 3 wide down the back
Contact.
Slow contact.
Blocking. Here comes Matt Kenseth. You can't do it 4 wide at Indy.
Robbie Gordon drives that car in on the outside.
Oh, but Gordon got sideways.
Oh, big pack, back of the pack. 2, 3, 4 cars into the wall. It's all into the short chute.
The day's 5th and final caution bunched the field one last time. Under the yellow, Harvick led teammate Robbie Gordon, followed by McMurray, Kenseth, and a surging Jeff Gordon. After all the testing, all the weeks of preparation, and a decade of the Brickyard 400, it all came down to the perfect Indiana finish. A 10-lap, all-comers A-main sprint race for $400,000 to win.
We come up to speed and we see the green flag. Kevin Harvick looks like with a good restart as he pulls away from the 31 in turn 1.
Here comes Kurt Busch. He goes on the inside of Stewart and passes them both.
That's going to help push the 42 car by. That's that draft I was talking about. 2 cars are going to be quicker than 1 here at Indianapolis.
And he literally pushed him by the 31 car. He might have bump drafted him by.
With his Richard Childress racing teammate holding up traffic, Harvick saw nothing but clear track ahead. As a boy in California, Kevin Harvick sought the autograph of his hero, 4-time Indy 500 winner Rick Mears. Good luck, Mears wrote. I hope to see you racing here someday. Someday, as it turned out, was this day.
The checkered flag is in sight, and the California kid, Kevin Harvick, wins the 10th Brickyard 400.
On August 2nd, 1995, Dale Earnhardt visited Victory Lane at the Brickyard.
Anything we can do that Dale Earnhardt did is an accomplishment. You know, this whole race team, and that's why we still got this 3 on the side, because this is what this is what made this whole organization and this race team what it is today.
years and 1 day later, the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet had returned. Thanks to a young man who understood the significance of that fact, but also left his own unique mark on the racetrack. In the final finishing order, Kenseth held off McMurray for second. Former winners Jeff Gordon and Bill Elliott rounded out the top 5. IndyCar Series veterans Robbie Gordon and John Andretti, who had topped the practice charts on Friday and Saturday, finished 6th and 43rd. Rusty Wallace added to his remarkable Brickyard resume by finishing 10th, his 9th top 10 finish in 10 Brickyard 400 races. But his dream to kiss the bricks would have to wait another year. Wallace's dream has been alive since automobiles first raced at Indianapolis in 1909. The Indianapolis 500 has roared its way around the 2.5-mile circuit since 1911. So at 10 years of age, the Brickyard 400 is still just a toddler. But over that lone decade, the race has already affected NASCAR more than most could have ever imagined, and NASCAR has returned the favor. The collaboration has become as strong as the brick and mortar used to build the famed track nearly 1 century ago. There are 60 names on the Borg Warner Trophy representing the 60 men who can be called winners of the Indianapolis 500. On the Brickyard Trophy, there are only 7. 7 out of the 91 who tried over the first 10 races. Who will add their name over the next 10 years? We will find out together as history is made during each and every summer at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we begin NASCAR's 2nd decade at the Brickyard.